Okay, hi. This is for week 8 of ATTR 810, and we are talking about the spinal evaluation process. So, right off the bat, just talking about rating myself, I guess, for the spine and back evaluation. I think I rate myself pretty confident in it. I think I talked to a lot of people that I just graduated with, and I think that's the one area where they're like, ooh, I don't mess with spines. And I'm like, oh, like I'm not like afraid of my spinal evaluation. My research, not my research project, but my rehabilitation project at Ball State. So we had to pick an athlete with injury and take them through the whole entire rehab process, and then write a lit review on it. Not lit review. I'm sorry, but a paper on it. And so I did mine on a patient I had who was a 6'11" male volleyball player, and he had constantly had lower back pain and SI joint dysfunction. So, and I had success with him. I really enjoyed the whole entire rehabilitation process with him. I mean, I know he felt confident with me, and we built that relationship, and I felt confident working with the lower back with him. And then just recently, I had a I have like 3 soccer players with back issues. 2 of them are lower back pain, and I'm like, oh, like I don't mind when they come in. I'm like, yes, I know. Let's get you figured out. We got this. And then I have one who is dealing with thoracic back issues. So she's having a lot of pain around T7. But it's mostly musculature. But when I first did her spine evaluation, I was definitely not as smooth as my lower back evaluation. So I was sitting there doing all these single leg lifts, and so I was not happy with myself with my evaluation, because I thought I could have done a better job or been more confident in that. So I want to definitely improve on that. My strength in, I guess, the spinal evaluation is the lower back. Like I said earlier, I worked with a patient for a while and did a lot of research on the lower back. I'm comfortable checking alignment, checking rotation. So yeah, that's my strength for the back evaluation. And then for my weakness is and also my strength would be like getting the history and figuring out, okay, do you have pain with flexion? Do you have pain with extension? And knowing what that means. Like pain throughout the day, sharpshooting, radiating. I worked with a doctor my last semester of undergrad who specialized in nerve blocks and spinal, why can't I think of it? I was literally with him for 6 months. Cortisone injections, not cortisone. Spinal injections. I'm sorry. That's going to make me mad, and I'm probably not going to be able to finish this video because I'm going to be thinking about that. But he worked with the elderly population mostly, but I got to sit in and listen to him describe what the spinal structures are. He would test me with them, so I feel confident on what the structures are and what injuries there are with them. I guess my weakness is not doing a thoracic eval often enough to be like fluid in my eval and to figure that all out. So that's what I'm not happy with my eval. In what areas do I find most useful for my clinical decision making? I find, first off, my history is one of my most useful things in spinal evaluation, and also then anyone with any kind of back pain, I always try to check their gait and see if that is off, or if something is different there, check their posture. I had a professor in undergrad who was definitely loved gait analysis, and so she took us through it all the time, and seeing the connections through the whole body to see, okay, if their gait is off, what can be this issue. And then once I'm done checking their gait, I usually try to check for alignment if I think that could be an issue in rotation. So that is what I find most useful in my back evaluations, but that's also when I'm doing typically lower back evaluations, and I find like pretty evident stuff there. So with my thoracic, not so much. What I want to improve on is figuring out thoracic special tests, diving into the literature and figuring out what tests are valid, what are typical signs of which thoracic injury, and ways to relieve it too. So then I want to identify definitive steps you will take to improve your clinical practice. I was thinking about this earlier when I was going through and reflecting on my evaluation process. I would like to try to find a CEU course focusing on spinal evaluations, because that's always actually, like, spinal injuries and stuff have always been kind of what I like. I've just always liked learning about them, so I want to dive more into that so I can get fully confident in that. And so I want to try to find a class I can take, and then also dive into the literature a little bit more. I think also, like, it bugs me because I have, well, not bugs me, but it kind of gets in my way a little bit for my, like, I get really nervous with my patient who has thoracic spinal issues, because I have two cousins who are paralyzed from the waist down from a thoracic, both from thoracic spinal injuries. So I kind of tend to, like, think, okay, she's having direct pain on her spine, that means something is wrong. Like, no, like, I kind of get in my head a little bit. So I need to improve on that too, because I don't want to be a paranoid athletic trainer. Well, that kind of got off topic. Sorry about that. But yes, that is my spinal evaluation reflection.